Hello, today we're taking a look at the ASUS ROG STRIX B850-G gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. Now this is a micro ATX motherboard in white and it's currently on sale for just under £236. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed and we'll take a closer look at it. So this is everything that comes in the box with our motherboard. So we've got a quick start guide, some stickers, and some information on ASUS web storage. We've got an ROG keychain. We've got the antenna for our Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. We've got some cable ties. We've got two SATA data cables. One's got a right angle connector, one's got a straight connector. And we've got some accessories for mounting M.2 SSDs. So we've got some rubber pads, a Q-latch, and a standoff and a screw. Taking a closer look at the motherboard and working along the bottom from left to right. First of all, we've got our HD audio connector. We've then got a 3-pin 5V ARGB connector, followed by a system fan header. We've then got two USB 2.0 headers, followed by another system fan header. And then at the bottom right of the motherboard, we've got our system panel header where you're going to plug in your front panel connectors. Working up the right-hand side of the motherboard, first of all, we've got our motherboard's third and final chassis fan header. Just behind this, we've got chassis intrusion and thermal sensor headers. And then we've got two SATA ports with a COM debug port just behind these. We've then got a forward-facing USB Type-A 5GB per second port, followed by a USB Type-C 10GB per second port. We've then got our 24-pin power connector, followed by a start button. And then at the top, we've got a further two 3-pin 5V ARGB connectors, giving us a total of 3 of these on the motherboard. Working along the top of the motherboard, first of all, we've got our CPU opt header with our AIO pump header just beneath. Next to these, we've got our debug LEDs, which you'll find useful if you need to troubleshoot your system. And then just to the left of our RAM, we've got our CPU fan header. At the top left of the motherboard, we've got two 8-pin EPS power connectors to provide additional power to your CPU. The motherboard features a 14+2+1 power design, and we've got large aluminium heatsinks over the VRM. In the middle of the motherboard, we've got our AM5 socket and standard mounting brackets. We've got 4 RAM slots, and the motherboard will accommodate up to a maximum of 256GB of DDR5 at up to 8,000 plus megatransfers per second overclocked. The motherboard has a single by 16 size PCIe slot, and it's good to see that it is reinforced. This is a Gen 5 slot and it will run in by 16 mode with the PCIe lanes coming from the CPU. It's good to see this slot features a Q release button, so simply press the button to remove your GPU from the slot. The motherboard has 4 M.2 SSDs, there's 3 behind the heatsink, and we've also got 1 on the back of the motherboard. So all of our M.2 slots have 4 PCIe lanes associated to them, and our top 2 slots, the PCIe lanes comes from the CPU, whereas the bottom slot on the front as well as our rear slot, the PCIe lanes come from the chipset. So the layout of our M.2 SSDs is a little bit unusual on this motherboard. Normally your Gen 5 slot would be at the top, but in this motherboard our Gen 5 slot is the middle slot on the front of the motherboard, and all of the other 3 M.2 SSD slots are Gen 4 slots. Taking a look at our rear I/O, first of all we've got HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 1.4 ports. We've then got 4 USB Type-A 5GB per second ports, followed by 2 10GB per second ports. One of these is Type-C and the other is Type-A. We've then got clear CMOS and BIOS flashback buttons, followed by 2 USB 2.0 ports, and the one with the rectangle around the outside is your BIOS flashback port. We've then got a 20GB per second Type-C port, with another USB Type-A 10GB per second port. Next to this we've got our 2.5GB Ethernet port, and then we've got the antenna points for our Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. At the bottom we've got our audio connectors, which consists of SPDIF out, line out and mic in. And the motherboard is using the Realtek ALC 1220p codec. So I do think this is a pretty good looking motherboard, perfect for an all-white micro ATX build, and you're getting pretty good value for money for all the features this motherboard has. In particular, I like the fact that it's got 4 M.2 SSDs, and ASUS have used space on the back of the motherboard to add that 4th one in. I think the only thing to be careful with is if you're installing the Gen 5 drive, remember it's the middle slot where it would normally be the top slot on most other motherboards. And I did make that mistake in my build guide. I've done things backwards. I did the build guide first, of course, didn't read the manual, and installed the Gen 5 drive in the Gen 4 slot. I'll put a link to that video. I've used the motherboard in the description. And if you have enjoyed this unboxing overview, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button as well.